Okay, hello, good evening, and I can even say that. Hello, good evening, and welcome, that's better, to tonight's impromptu thing about 3D characters and using them in videos, specifically to make ads and explainer videos. But, here's the big but, not cheesy ones. So that's the plan. We want to make non-cheesy videos using 3D characters. That's the plan. So, I'm just going to check it's going out, because I'm never sure. And I don't want to be sitting here talking to myself, strangely. I mean, you know, I'm sure I'm great to talk to, but I don't really want to talk to myself. So let me just check in the background while you look at the fantastic picture of a girl on a bike. And you can't really argue with that, can you? Girl on a bike. I'm just going to check that it's potentially going out. There it is. And let me just see if there's any audio, because that's always the thing that goes wrong. So hang on. It's potentially going out. There it is. Oh, it is. Brilliant. And let me just see. Alright, I don't know how to stop it now. Anyway, back. There we go. So that's good. So that's very good. Okay, so let me get rid of that. So let me change to a picture of a girl not on a bike. Could we ask for more? Probably. Anyway, this is I suppose we could have fancy presentation mode as well, can't we? Hang on, let's remember how we do that. There it is. Present view. I think that's it. Yes. There we go, look, full-size screens. Fantastic. Okay, so, as I say, this is about 3D character storyboarding to make video ads and explainers. I'm Peter Buick, and I'm going to woo you, or wow you, I don't know, or woo-wow, maybe, with some out-of-the-box thinking. So let's get to it. So, I've got two things today, two storyboards, one for a 15-second video ad, one for a 30-second explainer ad. Remember, the key is that they're not going to be cheesy. So, let's start with the 15-second video ad. Wow, let's get straight into it. Okay, so, you know, you can use AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action, or whatever you want. But our real goal here is to sell without selling. Okay, that's the #1 rule of an advert, to sell without selling. I know that sounds completely insane, but that's true. The second thing, which is absolutely super essential, is to create desire. Because if people don't want the thing, then it doesn't matter how much it is, or how many loud you shout about it, or how many times you tell them. If they don't want it, they don't want it. So make them want it. And then the other thing is well, that's all great, but what does it have to do with video? Because how do you video, you know, somebody wanting it, kind of thing, you know? So the short answer is we use metaphors. So, rather than going to complicated lengths to make the video tell the exact story or to illustrate every single word you are saying, which takes ages, it's just do some metaphors for what's going on. Okay, it doesn't have to reflect exactly what you're talking about, just some metaphors, you know, literally metaphor. So that's my biggest advice. So how do we do all of that? So the status quo is normally we ask a question and then answer it, or we do a benefit and then a feature. I know most people do feature benefits, but strictly it should be benefit and then feature, because the feature is the fact and then the benefit is the reason why they want it to start with. But that's kind of boring. But you know, typically if you were going to do guitar lessons, you might do something like you know, an example, results in advance thing. You might say, you know, this is how you play the chord of C. The chord of C has got these notes in it, and you play these notes, and you don't play this note, and you do it, and it sounds like this. Okay, and you know, in 15 seconds that might be all we get out. And you know, you might promise them there's some more things coming, like 2 extra chords, and then it might form into a 12-bar blues song. But you know, that kind of thing. You know, question and answer. You know, pretty kind of boring, not captivating. I mean, if you're into guitar, maybe it's interesting, but the chord of C is very common, so it wouldn't be, in this particular case, it wouldn't be that interesting. So how do we make the chord of C interesting and to make it into kind of video ad? Because remember, we're selling without selling, so we can't just go straight in and say, we sell guitar training courses for £37. Please go here and pay the money, and we'll play you. Teach you how to play the chord of C, and then F, and then G, and it'd be fantastic. Okay, we don't want to do that because that's obviously selling. So we've gone in, and we got maybe some cool picture of a guitar playing. A cool picture of a guitar, of a girl playing guitar. I don't know why I can't say that. And she's going, hey, this is the chord of C. And getting people's attention, and then go, if you want to learn to play this chord and other chords, go, whatever. But that would be a real person, probably, and not made in the thing that we're talking about tonight, which is the 3D character thingy. But you can see that those kind of approaches to a video ad to sell without selling, to get them involved, to make them want it, but kind of boring. So how do we get around that? So technique one's called the reversal. Okay, the reversal. So it's not just that we start with the end result, okay, and then work backwards. I don't quite mean that. So what we do is we're going to show them the end result because we want to show them the benefit, the outcome of what it's going to do. So we have a picture of some guys gigging maybe, or the audience really enjoying the concert, and then we cut away to the thing. And rather than saying this is the chord of C, this is how you play it, we go in with a leading line, something along the lines of, there's 4 magic versions of playing the chord of C. Here's 2 of them. Okay, now straight away you can see in the video script that we're getting a lot of mystery in there and a lot of desire. We're not going in factual, we're not selling, we're not explaining, we're not doing this is how to or anything like that. Who else would like to play the chord of C or anything like that? Thank you, John Carlton. We're actually going in with an interesting statement. There's 4 magic versions of the chord of C. Okay, now that's something they may not have thought of. Maybe they know how to play the chord of C, but they don't know how to play 4 magic versions. They didn't even know there were 4 magic versions, and they didn't know that they were magic. And they're thinking, well, why are they magic? I know one of them. What are the other 3, or whatever they're thinking? And then why would I say, here's 2 of them? Well, it's for the exact reason that you're thinking. You're thinking, where's the other 2? So even when the ad is finished, they're thinking, oh, that's good. I've got 2 of them, but I haven't got the complete set. I haven't got all 4. I want the other 2. Well, guess what happens when they want the other 2? Remember, this is a video advert. So, we can close with, if you want, the other 2 chords and more cool chords, you can go here. You can see how we could close that pretty easily. We can do that silently. We can imply it. We can just put the link to the, training courses or the shop or wherever it is, just with a link, and people will probably get it and they'll think, what are the other 2 chords? And there's a link there, and they're going to think, well, maybe at the end of this link. So they'll click. Anyway, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So the point is, we're going to lead in with here's 4 magic versions of the chord of C. They probably don't know all 4. We're saying here's 2 of them, and they're wondering, well, where are the other 2? And they're still thinking that. So we got them off guard, and then we're going to, show them, do something. Now remember, we don't have to have exact imagery for this as well. It can be any old picture of any old guitar. It could be a steel guitar. It could be somebody playing guitar. It doesn't have to be, a chord sheet, a chord diagram of the 4 chords or anything boring like that. It doesn't have to be, the picture of somebody, picking the exact notes of the strings that we're doing. We can use metaphors, okay? Remember, metaphors. So any old musically related thing. It could even be a turntable spinning. It doesn't really matter. They know what they're talking about, but the message is really in the vocal, in the voice. Okay, because that also gets us out of any issues with the kind of imagery that we can use in the ads, and the fact that we can't use a lot of text in ads and stuff like that. So we say the words in the voice, and we just show metaphors in the pictures, and then they're really quick and easy to produce. And obviously we're going to look at showing them in 3D characters in a minute. Anyway, so we've done that. You can see how it's working. So just before I can show you, I need to talk about camera angles. Okay, so one of the things about the fact that they're being, 3D characters that I'm going to show you this app in a minute is that it's not just that they're 3D characters. It's not even just that they're posable. They can have their arms up or closed, and it's not just that they can have facial expressions. They can be happy or cheering or looking surprised or whatever. Okay, it's also the fact that just like any film, we can change the camera angle. Not only the camera angle, but the camera distance. So we can do multiple angles. So we can do front, side, other side, rear, from someone else's perspective. From behind them, from or anything like that. So we can do any angle, but then we can also do the different shots. Now there are actually 4 different shots. You probably know 3 of them, and you probably haven't thought about the 4th. Okay, we're doing it again. You see, I'm teasing you and getting you interested. So, the wide shot, I'm going to do them out of order. The wide shot is so we can establish the scene, so that they can see what's going on. They know where the person is, who he's with, likely what he's doing, whether he's playing football or eating or whatever. So the wide shot establishes what's going on. Okay, that's one of the things. Then we have a medium shot, where we're starting to focus in on the action. But it might be, if there's 2 people in the scene, it might show both of the people. But then we do a close-up shot where we zoom in on the exact one person who's talking at the time. Okay, because then it's very obvious, that they're talking at the time, and we're focusing on their, facial expressions and all that sort of stuff. And it's guiding us to who's leading the action at that point. So the one you might not have thought of is number 4, which is the opposite close-up. So it's a bit weird, but when somebody's talking, you can show the other person. Now, obviously, this can get out of hand and it can confuse people, but if you do, the sequence of shots, and you pan over from the person speaking and then cut into the person who's listening, and it's obvious that they're listening, and you've moved the, the perspective so that it's, not the same angle. So we can't do full-on. What am I trying to say? You can't do front facial shot to front facial shot, okay? So that won't work, because we don't know if the other person should have started speaking. But if we do, the person actually speaking as the face shot, the front shot, and then we do a side shot, then it's obvious that we've moved the camera, but we're still hearing the same voice. So that will be less confusing. Okay, I haven't explained that fantastically well, but if you think about it, we don't want to use the same angle, and we want to show that we've moved the camera, but if the audio carries on, we can understand that it's the same person speaking, and now we're looking at the reaction of the other person. And particularly if we give him gestures like, quizzical eyebrows, and he opens his mouth but he doesn't speak, or he puts his hand up or anything like that, then it will make a lot more sense. So there are 4 basic shots, and the reason why I say that is that this is where a lot of the the messaging can come in. And also it means that we can make a much simpler video. So instead of having to flood the video with loads of different things and props and characters and all that, and extra shots, we can just move the camera around basically on the same scene. And because these 3D characters, I'll show in a minute, are pretty cool, and they're moving, and they're obviously not still images, and they're kind of breathing and moving, even when we got the camera still, and we're not making them walk or anything like that, or wave. They're still kind of moving like they're alive, which is kind of what people do. So between all that and then the camera angles, we can come up with a very convincing story, as we'll see in a minute. So if we go back to our thing, we want to let's just remind ourselves of the plan. Right, so we want to show the end result and then the formatting. Here's 2 of them. Right, okay. So of course I haven't Actually, I'm going to have to come out of presenter mode, actually, unfortunately, because I haven't put the text in. There we go. I'll create the box, so let's just do that. Something like that. And that I think we'll do. And can you still see it? Yeah, you can. Okay, so so we want the outcome gig shot, people happy playing, or it could be the audience enjoying it. In fact, the audience enjoying it would actually be even more leading in, because then we don't know who's playing. So audience enjoying themselves would be my favourite, and also I know I've got a shot of that in it, but it could be people playing, you know, having a good time playing the thing. Let me just make this a bit bigger, because even I can hardly read that. Okay, so there we go. So basically, you know, we're probably going to go. Oops, probably going to go the audience enjoying themselves. Okay. Now, the brilliant thing we can do with that is, because we can import our own backgrounds in this 3D character thing, Story XY it's called, by the way. We can just have a still picture of the audience, and you know, and we can just do that. And maybe we'll, you know, do some camera cuts or something. But basically, we can just have, you know, the audience enjoying themselves. You know, they're not really looking at the stage. We're mainly looking at the audience and the silhouettes of the lights around them and that kind of stuff. Maybe we pan that. Maybe we cut it. Yeah, whatever we do. Okay. So, whoops, that's not quite right. There we go. So that's that. So the other thing we need to do is, sorry, this is a, you know, something like a 15-second video ad. Okay, so I don't know if I need more boxes than this, but if we do the 8 boxes, that's a 16-second video ad, then each one of these boxes is about 2 seconds. Okay, so that's about right. We're 2 seconds on the audience enjoying themselves. Okay, then we're going to come in to ideally, you know, a medium shot of the guitar. Okay, now Story XY isn't great at, you know, doing regular stuff and props, and there isn't a guitar player in the library yet that I know of anyway, and all this sort of thing. So it might be that we have to do another scene to get that in there. But in terms of the advert, we want to do that. You know, it's going to be a real guitar. It might be a, you know, a slick-looking one, and you know, that will get people happening. Then, why do I keep doing that without copying it? Silly boy. There we go. Okay, so then we go to the thing. Now we could do a wide, a wide shot, but we don't really need to set the scene for that, and we're going to get more impact. See where I punched my hand when I did that. It's okay, my hand wasn't hurt in the demonstration. So we're going to go actually for a close-up shot. So we're going to go straight in it, and then yeah, and that's where he's saying, you know, there are 4 whatever he said, you know, 4 magic ways of playing the chord of C. Okay, that takes about 2 seconds, so that's about right. It might be of playing, and it might be that we put this one. I can't do that. Anyway, let's copy that across. Then we're going to go across here. I don't think that's still in the buffer. No. Okay, so we just want to cut across the speech here if we can to get the momentum going. Applying a chord of C. Okay, now 2 things are going to happen, and you know, we're going to probably do some facial expressions of that, and you know, he might be you know, smiling and all that kind of stuff. Actually, I won't put that in there, but you know, you might do some facial expressions there, and you know, some arm waving and stuff like that. And then we're going to change to the medium shot. Okay, and then he's going to carry on. Excuse me. He's going to carry on with the thing. Here are, and then maybe that's where we're going to change, because maybe that's our 2 seconds. Oops, what am I doing? There we go. Get over there. Oh, I see, that's slow. That's quick. Okay. So here are 2 up then. Okay, now for this we might now change back to the wide shot, and our background image may be different. It might be a studio, or pictures of people playing guitars, or whatever, that kind of thing. Now normally we could cut to an actual guitar or a chord chart or something like that, but again, you see, we don't need to be literal about this. We can just use metaphors. So what we can do now is we can change to a close-up, and maybe we focus more on his hands. He might just be waving his arms about. He doesn't need to actually be playing these specific chords. Okay, and he can just talk them through, and he'll explain whatever it is, an inversion, a bar chord, open tuning, whatever it is we've decided the 4 things of the chord are. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next one, and in between this we might have a close up when he's smiling. Okay, and whoops, and then it'd be, and this one, which means the second one, is whatever. And again, we can explain in voice what it is, and if it's particular notes or something or whatever, we can explain that in the voice. So again, we're using metaphors. We don't have to spend a load of time finding the exact chord to show, anything like that. Okay, so then we're basically there now, and then we can go into the close, and we might do medium shot. Okay, and maybe because it's medium shot, suddenly a second character comes in, and they're impressed. And maybe, I think it'd be trite and cheesy for her to say, wow, that's great, where can I get them? Okay, I don't think we need to be that obvious. So she can just literally say, wow, cool. And then we don't even actually need to say, to get these and more, or the other 2 or whatever. All we need to do now is basically, show, the call to action link, or the picture of the shop, or whatever it is, and we could maybe make it a picture of shop with a link on it, just to make it really obvious. But we don't actually need to say if you want the other 2 chords and more chords like it, please go to this link. We don't need to be, I don't know why I did that as a robot voice, but we don't need to be cheesy and trite about it. Okay, and that's all we need to do. So you see we've got our 8 things storyboard, and you can see what they would need, and basically we've got the one character, and we're different shots for him. We've got 3 different backgrounds. We're moving in for the facial expression there, and then at the end to mix it up, vary it up, add interest, and get a kind of social proof from the character in our own story. We've got another character coming in who's just thinks that's really cool, and they like the sound of the things. And then I say we don't need to blatantly say what they need to do next. I mean, you can do, but I think it's cheesy and trite, and the whole point is was to not make it cheesy and trite. So and you can imagine that this would be fairly easy to do with the 3D character thing. So I'm just gonna I was gonna quickly show you what we're doing. Right, so this is the application. Hang on, I'll put it shut. There we go. So you can see basically you got all your controls over here on the left. This is the main kind of preview window, and you can see you've got these little I can't call them scenes actually, but anyway, there's little steps, and each step, you can, put your text in. You can either have, your own voice in there, or you can do text to speech, or it might be you have a master soundtrack with the whole voiceover in, and then you just time it to that. So however you want to do it. But basically, create the number of steps that you need. I don't think the audio will come out. Let's have a go. Maybe I don't think it will. No, even I can't. Oh, actually, I've got it. Let's see if I can get it on the mic.
Hey, I know I look a lot like President Obama.
Okay, and then you do the next scene.
And there is a good reason for that.
Okay, so this isn't the ad. This is just a play around that I did, but you can see that this is my own backdrop. It's a static one. It could be a video, but this is going to be our opening shot, which I've forgotten, and I don't want to go back to the slide yet. Of people enjoying themselves playing, there, isn't it? Or sorry, the audience playing. So this could be the audience, happy. And then in the next step, we would change it to be, the guy talking. So as we, had it here. Actually, let me show you. Yeah. So. The way this package works is you basically put your text in, you position the cursor, and basically you insert, whatever it is you want to, insert. So you can do facial expressions, walking, looking at another character, add a delay, add, an audio trigger, move the camera, or have, the character animation differently. So for this one, I'm going to keep the camera the same, I think, but I'm going to insert the animation here. And that could be an arm gesture, so he'd wave his arm out like he's talking. Okay, now in the same kind of place, I can move the camera at the same time. So let's insert a camera thing, click on the camera, and I've actually found 1 second is too slow, so I actually quite like 0.3 at the moment, a third of a second. And then if we go and see it, just make sure you're seeing that. Yeah, you are. These are all the different camera shots. So you can see we've got, kind of a wide shot there, and we've got some, close-ups here, and then somewhere, that's the back of his head. That's him looking in a direction. I don't know what these three are supposed to be. And there's a kind of wide shot. That's a medium shot. So we've got a kind of a wide shot, medium shot, and then we've got the close-up here. So we might use that one, for instance. Okay. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't jump to that straight away. I'll play it. I think you'll be able to see it. Okay, there's our close-up shot there. So that would be him, explaining it. And then in another step, we would, change to the, some kind of picture of a guitar, a metaphor of guitar playing. So it didn't have to be the exact shot. And then we got all the other things. And then you can imagine how we would add another, now add a new character. And there she is. And you can position them around and give them different voices and stuff. Okay, and then she would be the other kind of voice there. And again, I'm just doing it on the same step because this isn't the real kind of version. And then you can, when you zoom in, again, as I say, that's a bit slow, so I think that's better. You've got the choice now of zooming in on him or her. So we could go to, a close-up of, well, there's a distant shot of both of them. Where's she gone? There should be a close-up of her somewhere. There we go. Okay, it wasn't the best background to pick, was it? Anyway, but we could go to a close-up of her, there. And as I say, I can't really see it that well here, but let's just see if we do it. So close-up of him. And, change the camera angle, whatever, and then wide shot of them both, and then I thought I put the close up of her in, but anyway, let me just check that again in a minute. Okay, let's just... It is there. Okay, I don't know why that didn't stay. Maybe the text is not. So I mean, normally this would be in each of the steps. Okay, but you get the principle. Yeah, what's going to happen. So I was expecting it to go to this shot here, which is a close-up of her. Okay, but for some reason it didn't do that. Anyway, but we just do the scenes, you know, like that. It'd be a close-up of him, and then it should be a close-up of her after the wide shot of him. There's another close-up of him. So I don't know where the close-up of her went. Anyway, but maybe I've just done it wrong. But it looks like it's there to me. Anyway, we won't worry about that now. But yeah, it does. That's basically the way it works. You put these little camera moves or animations or whatever, you know, facial expressions in there. Obviously, she's going to be, you know, wowing. It should be there. And if you've got them in the wrong place, you can move them around. Okay, and let's say, you know, we want her to have the, you know, an amazed or, you know, inspired expression. So we put the expression in, we click on it, and then we can do it. So we want something I'm going to do surprise, actually, or even flirting. That'll probably do. So there's sort of different sort of settings here. So you know how much of a expression you want. You know, again, the timing of it, how long it's going to show for. It must be a percentage of the thing, and then again the height, the speed to hide. I presume that must be percentage. Anyway, I'm not sure. So whatever that's setting, and then that would be her, you know, the way she's her face looks when we zoom in there, which is what's supposed to have happened. So we zoom in, and then in the same breath we make her, you know, amazed and go, gosh. Okay, so that's basically the way it works. You can see how that would work. You can see how the cameras can move about, you can see how the characters can move about, you see how you can change which character it is and the facial expressions, and also, you know, the hand movements and all that kind of stuff, and then all these other things as well. You can make them look at each other and that kind of stuff. But that's the way the package works. You know, from the storyboard, I think it's fairly obvious how you would you know, put the steps in for this, and you're kind of off. So the only thing I do want to explain, unless I'm missing a big button somewhere, which I may be, but I don't know, you can only set, there's only one scene. Okay, these are steps, and you can move the camera about and everything there, but this whole thing is a scene, and you can only set the backdrop for the scene. Okay, so we've got the video backgrounds or static image backgrounds, and you can do an overlay with, you know, lower third or whatever you want as well. But this is you know, only one per scene, and I haven't found a way of adding scenes. So what I am doing is I'm just doing you know, scene, and then doing a new project and doing the next scene, doing a new scene, doing the next scene. It's a bit of a small bit of a faff, but you know, this is a very kind of cutting edge thing. You know, it's very hard to get 3D characters to yeah, move about and have facial expressions and all that any other way. And then you simply just join those videos together. Okay, now maybe they will or maybe they won't, I don't know, add a way to create new scenes and then let you chain them together. Maybe the way the steps work will get better, or maybe you'll be able to change the backdrop, you know, for the you know, for the steps. You know, I don't know. You can certainly change the characters there, but I don't know how you change the, you know, the backdrop. So maybe it will evolve, but if, you know, until it evolves, or if it doesn't evolve, then I just do each scene, save it, or render it I should say, do the next new project and do the same kind of thing. Obviously you could edit it in and then you know, edit what you've got, and just change whatever it is you need about them, the text or the position of the camera or whatever, and change the backdrop as you need to under the scene thing there. Okay, so that's basically what we're talking about. It's called Story XY. I'll tell you how you can get it in a minute, but you can see how we can turn our storyboard into the 3D character story video maker, just using simple kind of things like the camera and the characters and all that, and the facial expressions obviously help a lot. I think the text to speech is actually very good. Obviously you could import your own voices or whatever, or actors, whatever, but if you want to quickly get male and female voices of different varieties, you can. There's quite a lot of different voices available in the pack, and if you buy the Pro OTO1 Pro, you get a load more, another 30 characters, effectively more voices for them as well. Anyway, so that's that. That's how we, that's our script. It's about 16 seconds. If these are 2 seconds each, obviously you can vary it up as you want. I didn't just want to give you a fait accompli, A, because I didn't have time to pre-build one, but B, I think the process of going through it is actually the most valuable bit, because it will help you to think what you need to do when you're making your one. So you can see the kind of way that I've had to think about what the cameras are doing, which characters involved, what they're saying, what props or backgrounds we need. You can see if we just storyboard it out, then go to the character builder to do it. Now the reason I strongly suggest you do the storyboard is because if you don't, you're gonna look at the app and you're gonna think, right, I'm gonna do I'm gonna add a step and do this, add a step, do this, add a step, do this, and it's not going to give you the clarity that you have in the storyboard. So this is the message you need to tell, this is the story you need to tell, this is how we're going to do it. Then we go to the story maker, and then we actually make it and decide which characters to use and what movements they're using, what facial expressions and all that. Okay, so we go from the storyboard and then we put it into this character maker thing, and then we can just render the video and we're off. Okay, so let's how long have we been going there? Oh blimey. Okay, so I was going to try to do these in 20 minutes each, but that one took me 40 minutes already. Anyway, let's just look at another one. I'll just very quickly, I won't bother building it, but another add example. Let's say we're doing photography, okay, rather than guitar tuition. So again, it's a similar kind of principle. There are 3 gorgeous Hollywood lighting techniques. Here's 2 of them. Okay, same sort of thing. Same reason why we're doing that. We'd have our 3 reasons, and again it's the same thing. What's the other one, and all that, and we could do a similar kind of plot thing, for that. But let's move on to the explainer video now. So, if you want to do the photography one, put some comments below this live stream, and and give me your idea for the 8 steps or however many steps you want, to tell that story in the same kind of way that I did with mine. Okay, if you want to do a picture and attach that, you can do that as well, or just put it in 8 lines of text, whatever you want to do. So if you want to have a go and tell me how you might approach it, then that'd be interesting, and everyone can share and see what's going on. But let's move on to the second one, which is the 30-second explainer video. And again, the status quo is incredibly trite and cheesy, because it's usually here's Bob, and basically he's an idiot, okay, and then here's Mary, and she's cool and she found a way to do it. And then, and then she gets the result, and then it basically ends with, do you want to be a Bob or be a Mary? It's such a contrived story that it's laughable. Okay, that's the way a lot of people do it. Bob's a shop and he needs more traffic and he doesn't know how to SEO optimize his site. But here's Mary, and she didn't know either until she found blah blah. Okay, and now she's got loads of traffic. And when she met Bob in the coffee shop and told him, and he thought, well, that's a really good idea, I must try that. Yeah, just ridiculous stories. Not even a story, it's just pathetic, really. Yeah, if we want to do something better than that, we want to think outside the box a little bit, and we've got this 3D character thing where we can make things look pretty exciting, make them move and smile and dance and whatever. Yeah, we can use basically what we call the Hollywood roller coaster. So if you look at the plot of nearly all Hollywood films, basically, you know, they build empathy with the characters, so we see them in their normal lives, having relationships, so we care about them. Yeah, they're not just strangers who get shot or something. You know, we actually care about them. But you know, the whole kind of plot is you know, the hero is struggling with something. Okay, and then he finds a solution and he wins that, and then there's another struggle. Okay, and the struggle might be a battle with with the enemy, with the nemesis. Okay, so you know, we get to know him. Then he meets this nemesis who, you know, gives him a hard time. Then he finds a way to defeat the nemesis, and everything's great for a couple of minutes. And then another nemesis comes, or the nemesis comes back to life, or something like that. Okay, I'm sure you can, you know, think of a lot of movies where this has happened. Anyway, we're going to do something like that. But again, rather than doing it in this linear fashion where we get empathy with the character and all that, and remember we've got 30 seconds to do this, and yeah, we don't want to say anything trite like, you know, Bob's a dog lover, isn't that cute, or something like that. You know, it's not going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight in with the enemy. So say for instance we land in the enemy's headquarters, and then we've got two enemies you know, talking to each other about how they're going to stitch up Bob. Okay, so that's interesting, intriguing already, because we've got these nasty, evil villain people plotting to harm Bob. Now we don't quite know who Bob is, but we know that they're evil, plotting, and villains. So straight away we're into it. And then maybe you know, one of the villains explains what they're going to do to him, and then the other one goes, yeah, that's cool, but then we could do this to him. Okay, so now we're thinking, blimey, poor Bob's really going to get it. Then maybe we introduce, you know, Bob, and then maybe we try and get the empathy in it. You know, he's trying to do the best he can, and then, you know, we know what's coming, he doesn't. But rather than, you know, showing them and going into it, because we've only got 30 seconds, we basically end up with, you know, what will happen next. Okay, now they know, so that gives them resolution, because they know what's going to happen. You know, they know that there is these two enemies and what they've got in mind for him. But you know, look how easily we slipped into that story. Okay, no, you know, no selling, no you know, pathetic story. And we're going straight in with the action, and we're not really building empathy with the villains, but yeah, we're getting into the villain's character, and it usually works better when we kind of, you know, care or interested in the villain. Okay, or we see something in what they're trying to do. You know, maybe they're the resistance or something, or what, yeah, whatever it is. Anyway, so you can see how, you know, that might work. Okay, so again, we have to remember, you know, our 4 camera angles and what we can do with those. Okay, so don't forget we can have the wide shot to establish what's going on. We can go straight in with a close-up where we're getting the, you know, the real facial expressions. We know exactly which character's taking the lead. We can do a medium shot to go between them and show them in context. And then, as I say, the other one is the opposite close-up where we're seeing the reactions to it. But again, don't use the same camera angle. We want to do a, you know, cross camera angle from, say, full front to side, so that we know that the camera's changed but the same character's still talking. So what would we do you know, with this? So we're 3/4 hour in. I probably shouldn't do much of this. Let's just try and do a quick one. Okay, so I'll take the box from there. Is that quicker? It's probably not quicker. Anyway, let's do that. Right, so for this one, we're going to do something like, close up of villain 1. Okay, his evil plan for Bob. Okay, make that a bit bigger. There we go. Okay, and then over here we're going to have the close-up villain 2 and his evil plan. Now, why have I left a gap? That's because we want a transition shot, because we can't go from close-up, frontal to close-up frontal. It'd be, a bit cutty and a bit confusing. So what we want to do is basically we want to go to a medium shot where we can see that there's another character in the room. Okay, and maybe in the background there's a picture of Bob, with a red circle around him to show that he's the victim. Okay, and maybe we'll get the guys to to point him in. We know that they're going to be nasty faces and maybe evil laughter and whatever, maybe dramatic music. It doesn't have to be cheesy. We just it could be comedic, but it establishes the transition between the two. Okay, then as I said, we're probably going to go to to Bob, the hero, or whatever you want to call him. Now, we could do a wide shot to establish that we've changed to Bob, so maybe we should do that. To get context into Bob's life and who cares about him and what he cares about and stuff like that. Then we're going to go to something else, and then we'll do the close-up of Bob. Okay, and maybe one of his normal struggles. Okay, and then maybe we've probably got time. Then we can go to a medium shot where we introduce a second and third character. Okay, and they're trying to help him, or he's trying to help them. Maybe it's his family and they need to eat and they haven't, or whatever it is. They're kind of creating a team kind of thing, and it's going to make him a good guy because he's trying to help people and people are trying to help him. Okay, then basically we can go. So if we do 21. So each one of these is about 5 seconds, isn't it? Something like that. Right, so I copied that one. Then we can go into a wide shot, and then maybe the two villains are in the distance. Okay, and then we change the background to Bob travelling off to do his normal sort of thing. Okay, and they're lurking, and then we've only got 30 seconds, so we haven't got time to do the whole movie. So basically we're just going to close with however we want to do it, what happens next. Now the only thing is, if we say what happens next, or to find out what happens to Bob next, okay, that'd be cheesy and trite as far as I'm concerned. So again, we can be like we were in the other one, we can be super subtle about it, and we can just show I don't know, the cover of the DVD or something, the story of Bob, whatever it is, but the cover will show that, and just the link. Again, we don't necessarily need to state, to see what happens next, go to this link. Okay, if they're waiting for something to happen or to get more and they see a link, then basically they're going to work that out, that they're going to click. Okay, and that takes all the triteness and cheesiness away. Okay, so that's basically it. But you can see we've basically built a very high impact 30-second explainer. We're not trying to sell anything. Okay, we're not telling some obviously fake, pathetic story of, you know, Bob's an idiot and Mary's not an idiot, and which would you rather be, Mary or Bob? You know, we're going straight in. We've gone. You know, we've put Hollywood on its head because we're going straight in from the villain's view, and we've got not just one villain who's going to do something to Bob, but two villains, and they're each going to do something more disastrous than the other guy, and help each other, you know, help themselves to, you know, to stitching Bob over. So we know Bob's in trouble. We don't know quite who Bob is yet, but we know that something bad's going down. And then we go to Bob, and then Bob, you know, helping or being helped, you know, to establish the empathy and to show, you know, how his life's pretty difficult already, and that he doesn't know what's coming. And then we do the wide shot with the villains in the background, you know, ready to unleash their evil plan. And then we don't need to do explosions and, you know, whatever. You know, basically we're just going to leave it, you know, as a subtle link to, you know, how to get more. Okay, so if we're selling, you know, whatever it is, then obviously that's going to be the subtle thing in the in that last shot. Okay, and we don't need to say it out loud because the audience are clever enough to work it out. So, you know, as I say, there we are, high impact ad. Not, you know, not really not obvious, you know, what we're selling or something. Now, obviously, what, you know, the you know, what Bob's normal life is like, and what the villains are, you know, wanting to do to him, you know, they can involve whatever you're selling. So it could be that, you know, if you're selling photography, that these two guys are rival filmmakers, and Bob's a filmmaker, and he's struggling to get his production put on, and they're plotting to how to ruin his film. Okay, so if you're selling, you know, filmmaking courses or something like that, then maybe that's an appropriate kind of, you know, direction for you. But you can see how that would, you know, kind of come together. Okay, so now we've got the storyboard and the characters in the film and the moods and what they're going to do and the order of things. Then basically, you can see how, if I could turn the button on, there we go. That in Story XY, we could add the characters. For this one, we'd need, you know, 5 characters. So you only get 3 in the front end, so you would need to get OTO1 for the Pro to get up to, I forget what it is now, 9, I think it's 9 characters. So, you know, we only need 5 of the 9. You can see all the camera angles that we would do, you know, in the different steps. We can see the facial expressions we need. We can put in the speech-to-text script, or you can upload your own voiceovers, etc., etc. Okay, so there we go. So I think that's pretty exciting, really. Yeah, and this is how we can use 3D characters to tell a story, which is obviously not selling, but is obviously about, you know, getting something. And it's going to be engaging and entertaining and, you know, potentially clever. It's going to look good. The fact that you can change, you know, the background for your own, you know, the girl on the bike there, for instance, you know, that is, you know, probably 60% of your story, okay, just in the static background. And then when you've got these guys moving and waving and all that kind of stuff, so let me just show you them moving and waving again one more time. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can do all this kind of stuff, different shots and arm movements and facial expressions and all that, and then you can, you know, go between the steps. Yeah, there we go. You know, he's doing whatever it is. I only put the one character in this one. You know, and then if you change the background or whatever, yeah, you can see it's pretty good. It's hard not to, and there's the other character going. You can see it's hard not to want to look at what's going on. You see the way they move even when they're standing still. Okay, that makes it very kind of interesting, you know, as to what's going on. Okay, so that's how we can build the story. It's called Story XY. For some reason they pronounce it Story XE, which is really annoying, but because it's obviously XY. But anyway, they say XE. Anyway, if you want your own one, it's sorry the URL is not fantastically easy. I'll try and stick it below the live stream. Clickjustclick.com. That's the easy bit. Click.com, and then it's Darius, which is the name of the guy who's made it, and then 3D, because that's what it's all about. It's about 3D characters, and then story XY, because that's what it's called. Okay, so click.com/Darius 3D story XY, and you can see how it's spelt, and there's no capitals in any of that, and no spaces, and no dots, and no dashes. Okay, so click.com Darius 3D story XY. So that's how you can get the tool to bring these stories into life. And then my bonus, if you get this from my link, which is that one just there, click.com/Darius 3D story XY, you will get this plus some resources, and I'll give you another 2 filmmaking tips like these. Okay, but you'll have to I don't know if I know how to put the bonuses in the place, so you might need to email me or leave a message from me anywhere, or on the help desk. Actually, yeah, you can just use the help desk. So if you use the help desk, which is k2kgroup.com/helpdesk, strangely, then you can just leave me a note to say that you bought it, and I'll get you extra 2 bonuses here. Plus you'll get the recording of this, plus some assets, not the ones I've shown you, something useful that you can use to create your own backdrops or that sort of thing. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit longer than I was planning for, but it was as long as it needed to be. So that's it for now. That's our impromptu thing over, and I shall see you next time. I have no idea what we'll be doing, but I'll see you then. I'll just wait for that to catch up, and then I shall end it. Just taking a minute for that to come across. There we go. Okay, so that's it. So I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Bye bye.